So we are continuing with the transportation models, okay. So in the last class, we have started with transportation models and we have seen three methods to find initial basic feasible solution, okay. So what are those methods? NW method, LCM and VAM method, okay. So these three methods are used to find initial basic feasible solution. So we cannot find optimal solution using these three methods. So now next we are going to see the second step where we are going to calculate or where we are going to find the optimal solution, okay. See, to find the optimal solution, first we need some initial solution, okay. So if we are not having initial solution, we cannot calculate optimal solution. So that's why we are calculating optimal solution in two steps. In the first step, we have calculated initial solution, and in the second step, we are going to calculate the optimal solution. So we need some initial basic feasible solution to calculate optimal solution, okay. So maybe in yesterday's class, in last class, so you were asking, right? So what is the difference between Modi method and these three methods, okay? Whatever we have seen, like NW method, LCM and VAM method. So that difference also you will come to know when we start with Modi method, okay. So it is basically used to find optimal solution. So many of you were asking whether it is there in syllabus or not. So it is a lengthy procedure. Yes, it is a lengthy procedure, I agree, but still they are asking questions in GATE examination, okay. So you have to follow that method also. So one GATE question is there that we will discuss after starting with Modi method. So we will discuss some more questions also, so that you will be getting good amount of practice of this particular Modi method, okay. So little bit of lengthy method, but still don't worry. So whenever they are asking in GATE examination, they will try to simplify, okay. So like let us say if we are taking a 3x3 cost matrix, the Modi method will become little bit lengthy, okay. And if we are taking only 2x2 cost matrix, it becomes a simpler method when compared to 3x3 matrix, okay. So don't worry, whenever they are asking questions in GATE examination, they will try to ask in such a way. So so that it can be solved within that 3 or 3.5 minutes. Fine. Modi name from modified S. Modi means modified distribution method. So MO represents modified, DI represents distribution. Not any Modi, not that, okay. So Modi, modified distribution. Modified distribution method. Or else we can call it as UV method also. Because we are going to calculate some U and V values in this method. So they have named this method as UV method also. So maybe in examination they can ask you to solve the given question using Modi method, or they can say solve the given question using UV method. So you should not get confused, okay. Modi method or modified distribution method or UV method. All these are same, okay. So different names are there, okay. So you should be, thorough with these names also. So because we don't know which name they are going to use in GATE examination. So in the last class we have seen, so in the last session we have seen three methods. So we stopped with VAM method, right? So after VAM method, so in those three methods we just found initial basic feasible solution, right? Now we are going to find the optimal solution. So please copy this question, please copy this data, then I will dictate the question. Okay. So write down the question, check whether the given solution is optimal or not. Check whether the given solution is optimal or not. If not optimal, find the optimal solution. Check whether the given solution is optimal or not. If not optimal, find the optimal solution. Check whether the given solution is optimal or not. If not optimal, find the optimal solution. This is the question. So this is initial basic feasible solution. So we just have given some name, okay. Initial basic feasible solution. So using those three methods, NW method, LCM method and VAM method, we found initial basic feasible solutions. Now this is also a GATE previous year question, okay. So I think it is GATE 2000, I guess. GATE 2000. So at that time they used to ask some conventional type of questions. That's why it is little bit lengthy question, okay. Don't worry. So it is a little bit lengthy question. So they cannot ask these type of lengthy questions nowadays, okay. So still we have to solve these type of questions, because if we don't solve, we will not get clarity on Modi method, okay. So to get clarity on Modi method, we have to at least solve one conventional type of question. That's what we are doing now. So hope you have understood. So we don't know using which method they got this solution, okay. So they have given you some initial basic feasible solution. We have discussed only 3 methods, right? Like NW method, LCM method and VAM method. But we are having so many other methods also to find out initial basic feasible solution. We don't know which method they have used. Okay. So in the question itself, they have given that we are having one initial basic feasible solution. So please check whether it is optimal or not. So we have to check whether the given solution is optimal or not. So these type of solutions already you got in VAM method, LCM method and NW method. So you can take any solution from those methods and you can check using Modi method. So hope you have understood. So this solution we don't know from which method they have calculated, but what is our part? We have to check whether it is optimal or not using Modi method. If it is not optimal, we have to find optimal solution also. So first, already this is given in the question, total supply and total demand, those are equal. So you just calculate the total cost for this. Total cost is 50 into 4 plus 8 into 50 plus 8 into 50 plus 8 into 100 plus 9 into 250. So I guess you will be getting this value as 4050. Please check if it is wrong. Please correct me. So this is our initial solution. Okay. So we are having one initial solution and now we are going to check this whether it is optimal or not using Modi method. So please check whether you are getting this 4050 or not. Please reply so that we will start with Modi method. So please don't copy anything. Now you can just listen so that you should not miss anything regarding this Modi method. Okay. So we are having a series of steps. Again, it is an algorithm. Okay. So we are having some series of steps which you have to follow to get the solution. Now in the first step, what we are doing is calculate UI comma Vj values. So you'll come to know, okay, what are these UI Vj values. Once we start this calculation, you'll come to know. Please don't worry. See, I'm just taking this matrix. It is a 3 by 3 matrix, cost matrix, right? So here I'm just writing U1, U2, U3. So we have to calculate some values, okay, which are U1, U2 and U3. For the rows and for the columns, we are calculating V1, V2, V3 values. Now what we are going to do is, I am just writing the cost values where allocation is present. Okay. So in the first cell, we are having allocation. Write down the cost value. In the second cell, we are having allocation. Write down the cost value. Here also we are having allocation. Write down the cost value. Here again we are having allocation. Write down the cost value. Here also we are having allocation. Write down the cost value. Okay. So you can count the number of allocations. We are having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 allocations. So here we have written 5 cost values which are associated with that particular allocated cells. Now remember what I have told. Number of allocations are 5. What is m plus n minus 1 value? 3 plus 3 minus 1. It is also 5. That means we are having m plus n minus 1 allocations in this particular solution. So we can apply Modi method. If the number of allocations are less than m plus n minus 1, the solution is degenerate and we cannot apply Modi method. That's what I have already told you. Okay. So if the solution is not having m plus n minus 1 allocations, you cannot use Modi algorithm. So it is designed in such a way. Okay. So it definitely requires m plus n minus 1 allocations. So you have to check. Okay. So if the solution is having m plus n minus 1 allocations, then only you can start with Modi algorithm. So in the first step, what we have written? We have written the cost values which are present in the allocated cells. Now we have to calculate these values. Okay. See, among these variables, you can assume any variable as 0 or you can assume any value among these variables as 0. Maybe you can take U1 as 0, U2 as 0, U3 as 0, or maybe among these 3 variables also, you can take any one variable as 0 among all these variables. I am just assuming U1 value as 0. Maybe you can assume any other value as 0 also, no issues. But we can standardize this thing. So in each and every question, I will be assuming U1 value as 0. So even if you are assuming U2 as 0, that is okay. You will get same answer, same final optimal solution you will get. Okay. So, but I am standardizing this thing. I am just taking U1 value as 0. Now how to calculate these values? So u1 plus v3, I am just writing u1 plus v3 is equal to, so this particular cell is the intersection of these two variables, right? v3 and u1. So this element. Okay. So u1 plus v3 is equal to 8. Now what about v3? It will be 8. Now similarly you can write v3 plus u3 is equal to 9. v3 plus u3 is equal to 9. So what about u3 value? It will be 1. So like this you have to calculate ui and vj values. ui and vj. So I is equal to 1, 2, 3 so on, and j will be equal to 1, 2, 3 so on up to n, any number you can imagine. Okay. So now what about other values? So u1 plus v2 is equal to 8. That means it should be 8. So 8 plus 0, it should be 8. Now similarly you can calculate v2 plus u2 is equal to 8. That means this should be 0 and this should be 4. So 4 plus 0, it will be 4. So like this you have to calculate. In the first step you have to calculate ui and vj values. So hope you have understood this particular step. So please reply if you are having any doubt in the first step. So it is little bit lengthy procedure. That's why we will take doubts after completing each and every step. So please do reply if you are having any doubts in calculating these values. Okay. So Trishal, u1 initially we are assuming, okay. So we are assuming, initially you have to start by assuming any of these values as 0. Now I have taken u1 value as 0. You can take any other value as 0. It is your wish. You will get same final optimal solution. Okay. So it is method you just have to start with, you just have to start by assigning one variable as 0. Otherwise you cannot calculate other variables. Okay. So u1 initially I have assumed as 0. If you want you can assume any other value also. It is your wish. Okay. So u2, how we got u2 0? See, it is 8 here. 0 plus 8, it should be 8. So you can check these values, okay. 0 plus 4, it is 4. 0 plus 8, it is 8. Again 1 plus 8, it is 9. Intersection elements. Okay, like this. Intersection elements. So like this also, intersection. So hope you have understood. V2, it is 8. Okay. So initially we have assumed this value as 0. Anshu, listen. Initially we have assumed this value as 0, right? So 0, that means u1 plus v2. So if you want I will write here. So u1 plus v2. Okay, so this is the intersection cell, right? So this will be your intersection cell of these two. So u1 plus v2 is equal to 8. u1 plus v2 is equal to 8. So already we know u1 value is 0. That's why v2 value is 8. So hope you have understood, Anshu. Mohammed, I will revise, I will repeat this briefly. So please don't worry. Okay, so I'm just repeating this briefly, okay. Yes, Trishal, you can take any value as 0. You can take any value as 0. Maybe you can take v1 value as 0 initially. Then also it will work. Okay. So don't get confused with this. So always you can take u1 value as 0. Okay, so you can just follow like this. Okay. So maybe you can take v1 value as 0 or v2 value as 0. Any one value you can take 0. Any one variable. So we are having 6 variables right here. Among these 6 variables, you can assume any one variable as 0 and you can calculate the other variables from this matrix. Okay. So Mohammed, I am just repeating this briefly. So please listen. So here what we have written? We have written with the, we started with cost values. So in this particular cell, we are having allocation, right? So we have written cost value here. So in this particular cell also, we are having allocation. So that particular cost value we have written. That means here we have written cost values where allocations are present. Okay. So here we are having 5 allocations. So those 5 cost values we have written here. Okay. So after writing, we have to calculate ui and vj values. Okay. u1, u2, u3, v1, v2, v3 values we have to calculate. Okay. Now initially I am just assuming that u1 value as 0. So always you can take u1 value as 0. Okay. So maybe among these 6 variables you can take any one value as 0. And you have to calculate the other values. Now I am just assuming u1 value as 0. You can take any other value also as 0. So assume this value as 0. So now u1 plus v3 is equal to 8. Okay, so U1 is this one and V3 is this one. So what is the intersection cell? This is your intersection cell. So U1 plus V3 is equal to 8. Already we have assumed U1 value as 0. That means V3 will be 8. So similarly, V3 plus U3. So V3 plus U3 is equal to 9. So V3 plus U3 is equal to 9. Already we know V3 is 8. So U3 will be 1. So like this you have to calculate U1, U2, U3, V1, V2, V3 values. So you can cross check also. U1 plus 4 is equal to 4. U2 plus V2 is equal to 8 and so on. You can just cross check these values. So this is your first step, okay. So we are having so many other steps also. So shall we start with second step? Okay, right. Okay, Saurav, right, correct. Okay. So we are moving to the second step, okay. In the second step, step number 2, you have to calculate Ui plus Vj values for the allocated cells, non-allocated cells. Okay. So in the second step, you have to calculate Ui plus Vj values for non-allocated cells. These are all allocated cells. Look at in the question. So you can have a look at the question. These are all your allocated cells. So using allocated cells, we calculated Ui and Vj values, right? Now in the second step, we are going to calculate Ui plus Vj values for the non-allocated cells. See, this is your non-allocated cell. So here what will be Ui plus Vj? 0 plus 4. Okay. So it will be 4. And what about Ui plus Vj here? It is 8. That means 0 plus 8. Okay. So here Ui plus Vj will be 1 plus 4. And here Ui plus Vj will be 8 plus 1, 9. Okay. So these are your Ui plus Vj values for non-allocated cells. So these are your allocated cells and the remaining 1, 2, 3, 4, these are your non-allocated cells. For non-allocated cells, we found Ui plus Vj values from this particular matrix. Now you just reply. So this is your second step. Any doubt in this? So I hope you have understood because it is very simple. Shall we move to the third step, next step? Please reply if you are having any doubt. Okay. So in the third step, you have to calculate Cij minus Ui plus Vj values for non-allocated cells. See, already for non-allocated cells, we have calculated Ui plus Vj values. Okay. What about Cij value? Those are your cost values, unit transportation cost. If you remember, Xij, Cij, okay. Cij is your unit transportation cost. Okay. So it is already given in the question. So what about Cij value for this particular cell? It is 12. So we have to calculate Cij minus Ui plus Vj. So here whatever we have written, it is Ui plus Vj. So calculate these values. So this will be 12 minus 4. It is 8. Here it is 11 minus 8, which is 3. And here it is 10 minus 5, which is 5. This one 6 minus 9, which is minus 3. Okay. We have calculated Cij minus Ui plus Vj values for the non-allocated cells. Now, here we can conclude whether the solution, whether the given solution is optimal or not. Now, as we got negative value in this matrix, so have we got negative value or not? Here. Okay. So, in this particular cell, we are having negative value. That means this solution is not optimal. Okay. So, if we had if we were having only non-negative values here, then we can conclude that this solution is optimal solution. But here we are having one negative value. That means we can conclude that this solution is not optimal. Okay. See, no need to discuss in detail, but I am just giving you some more additional points. Okay. See, this negative value here indicates that in this particular cell, you can do allocation. Okay. So this is non-allocated cell. Look at this. So in this particular cell, we are having negative value, right? So this is non-allocated cell. Now this negative value indicates that you have to change your allocations, okay, and you have to do some allocation in this particular cell, okay. So if you are doing some allocation, if you are doing allocation in this particular cell, then you can make this solution as optimal solution. So that's what this negative value says, okay. Negative value says that you can decrease your total cost by allocating in this particular cell, okay. So you can look into this matrix, okay. So in the whole matrix, this is your minimum cost, okay. But in this minimum cost cell, we have not allocated anything, okay. So that's also you can imagine, okay. So here you can do, you can reallocate some number of units and you can minimize your transportation cost. That's what this negative sign indicates. Yeah, sir, sure. I'll dictate those points. Okay. So as we got negative value here, so we have concluded that this solution is not optimal. Now we have concluded one thing. So we are saying that this is not optimal solution. So we have to find the optimal solution in the next step, right? So here you can write down. So please copy up to here, okay? Then I'll dictate those points. Don't worry. Copy up to here. Then I will dictate the points, and then we'll start with, then we'll solve this problem, and then we will be finding the optimal solution also. Okay. So hope you have copied up to this step number 3. Okay. So you can take some points, take down some points. So no points are required for this. Okay. Already in the question we have told, calculate UI, Vj values. And then by looking at these equations, you can understand that how to calculate V1, V2, V3 values. So that you just copy these equations also, okay, so that it is simple for you, you can understand, okay, how to calculate these values, okay. So here also, maybe you can add one point, we are just writing the allocated cells, okay, calculate UI, Vj values for allocated cells. So allocated cells in the sense, so you are taking the cost values only from these particular cells, okay. So in the second step, we have calculated UI plus Vj values for non-allocated cells. Already we know these are non-allocated cells, and we have calculated UI plus Vj values. Saurav, I am giving you points. Please be patient. So that's what I was saying. I am giving you points. I already told you I will dictate the points. Okay. So I know your point of view. Definitely you will be forgetting. Okay. So because these are algorithms. Okay. Definitely you will forget that. I know. I am giving you the points. Don't worry. Okay. So write down first point, the negative sign, write down the negative sign in the matrix, or else you can say the negative element in the matrix, indicates that, the solution is not optimal. The negative element in the matrix indicates that the solution is not optimal. So the negative sign in this particular matrix indicates that the solution is not optimal. Okay. So next point, the negative cell indicates that an allocation can be done. The negative cell indicates that an allocation can be done in that particular cell. An allocation can be done in that particular cell so as to minimize the transportation cost. Okay. Okay, so now you just tell me any other points which you want. Saurav, you were saying something. See, first step, it is very simple, right? So just read this heading. So it is very simple. Calculate UI, Vj values for allocated cells. Allocated cells. These are your allocated cells. Allocations and allocated cells. Okay. So here we have to take this and we have proceeded. So we are having these equations. Okay. So don't worry. You will just remember these equations. Okay. Whenever you are revising, by looking at these equations, you can easily come to know how to calculate these values. Okay. That's why I have given you some sample equations also. So here also you can just go through this heading. UI plus Vj. So we calculated UI Vj values. So you have to calculate UI plus Vj for non-allocated cells. So other than this, no other steps are required. Okay. So it is self-explanatory. So we have calculated UI plus Vj values. So here you need some points. Okay. That I agree. That's why I have given some points at this particular step. Okay. So you have to calculate Cij minus UI plus Vj. Already I have given you what is Cij value when we have written that problem formulation. Okay. So already I have given you some name of this. What is this? Unit transportation cost. So which is already given in the question. So Cij minus UI plus Vj already you have calculated here. So from that you have to subtract. Already I have written here 12 minus 4 like this. So don't worry, whenever you are revising, you will come to know these things. Already we have written. Okay, don't worry. Okay. So whenever you are having negative sign, that indicates that your solution is not optimal. Okay, so up to this third step, we just came to know that this is not optimal solution. Okay, so if it is not optimal solution, we have to find out the optimal solution also by following further steps. That we will do now. Shrima, you are asking some more, some question. So if it comes 0, okay, Shrima, if it is 0, then also solution is optimal. Okay, see, all the values here should be non-negative. Non-negative in the sense, maybe 0 or maybe positive. So if all the values in, okay, so you can write down one more point. So write down one more point. If all the values, if all the elements in step 3, if all the elements in step 3, if all the elements in step 3 are non-negative, if all the elements in step 3 are non-negative, then the solution is optimal. Non-negative in the sense, it may be 0 or it may be a positive element. So even if 0 is there, then also it is optimal. If no negative element is there, you can remember like this, if no negative element is there, it is optimal. Okay, so now you just tell me, do you want any other points regarding this step 1 and step 2? For step 3, I have given you all the points, okay. So regarding step 1 and step 2, do you want any points? So you were saying, right, you may be forgetting after 1 month. So Saurav, so I need response from you. So do you want any points, any theory regarding step 1 and step 2? Clear? Okay, very good. So it is very good. You are thinking that, so after 1 month maybe I will be forgetting. Definitely I will agree with you. Okay. So because if you are not having points, definitely you will be forgetting. Okay. So you can do one more thing. Okay. You can take some running notes also. If at all, maybe in very rare cases, if I miss some points. Okay. So anyways, I was going to dictate points here. Okay. So if I miss any points, maybe you can take some running notes. Okay. Or else at that particular point of time, if you just remember like this, remind me like this, then I will give. Okay. Don't worry. Fine. So let's start with next step number 4. I hope you have copied these things. I am just erasing this step 1 and step 2. Keep writing step number 4. Step number 4, loop formation. Step number 4, loop formation. Now you just take some points. After that we'll start. Mohammed, they are not cost values. Okay, so we are just using those values for comparison. Okay, so don't worry, they are not cost values. Okay, it's just an algorithm where we are finding those values. It's not cost value. Okay, so we cannot say it is cost value. Okay, so write down some points for this, then we'll start with algorithm. Okay, loop formation. A loop contains horizontal and vertical straight lines. A loop contains horizontal and vertical straight lines. A loop contains horizontal and vertical straight lines only. A loop contains horizontal and vertical straight lines only. Next point. Second point. A loop has to be started. A loop has to be started from. A loop has to be started from most negative element or most negative cell. A loop has to be started from most negative cell. Now what is the meaning of this? A loop has to be started from most negative cell. So what is the negative cell here? It is this particular cell. Okay. So from here you have to start a loop. So that you will come to know. Okay, in this step. So what is this loop? That you will come to know. So from this particular cell you have to start forming a loop. Now, so if you look at this particular statement very clearly, what I have told, a loop has to be started from most negative cell. Okay. Now let us say if you are having two negative values in this matrix. Let us say there is -3 and let us say there is -5. Then you have to start forming a loop from this particular cell, -5, most negative cell. That's what I was saying. Okay. So maybe in this question you are having only one negative value. Maybe in some other questions you may have more than one negative value also. Okay. So if you are having -5 here, then you have to start from this particular cell. Okay. So, but in this question we are having only one negative cell. That's why we'll be starting our loop from here. Okay. So whenever you are starting a loop, so you have to start from that particular cell and you have to end the loop also in that particular cell. Okay. Next point, write down, next point. A loop can take a turn. A loop can take a turn. A loop can take a turn only at the allocated cells. A loop can take a turn only at allocated cells. A loop can take a turn only at allocated cells. Okay, so now we'll be starting with step number 4. So remaining points we'll discuss. Okay, I'll dictate after completing this step number 4. Okay. Now what we are going to do is we are going to formulate a loop. So to formulate a loop, what you have to do is you just take the allocations, okay, which are already given in the question. So 50, and this is also 50, 50, 100, 250. Okay. So these allocations are already given in the question. So I'm just taking this supply demand values also, so that you will be having better understanding. Okay. So these are the given allocations in the question. So whenever you are starting this step number 4, just take down the allocations like this, which are given in the initial question. Okay. Now what is your negative cell? This is your negative cell. Okay. So this is your negative cell. From this particular cell, you have to start forming a loop. So what is the first point which I have given? A loop should contain only horizontal and vertical straight lines. Okay. And a loop should be started from the most negative cell, which is in this step number 3. Okay. Now one more point which I have told you, a loop can take a turn only at allocated cells. Okay. So that's why we have taken all the allocated cells here. Okay. Now, now what I have to do is I have to form a loop. Okay. Loop in the sense you have to start from this particular cell and you have to come back to this particular cell. Now maybe I can move in this direction like this. So I am starting from this particular cell because it is most negative cell. So I am moving in this direction. So here it is a allocated cell, right? Now what I have told you, so a loop can take a turn in an allocated cells. See, it is not mandatory, okay? In an allocated cell, you may take a turn or you may not take a turn. That is your wish. Allocated cell. So that means maybe you can bypass this particular allocated cell and you can go to this particular cell also. It is your wish. But whenever you are taking a turn, definitely you have to take a turn in the allocated cells only. In non-allocated cells, you cannot take a turn. Okay. Now let us say I am moving, loop should contain only vertical and horizontal straight lines. So I am moving in this direction like this. So it is allocated cell. Now I can take a turn. So let us say if I am taking a turn like this. It is non-allocated cell. That means I cannot take turn and I cannot reach back here. So it is your common sense and observation, okay. So like trial and error method you have to use and you have to form a loop. Now let us say if I am moving in this direction and I am taking a turn like this. Again it is non-allocated cell. That means you cannot move further and you cannot come back. So you're forming a loop in the sense you have to come back again to the initial cell. Okay. Now let us say if I am moving in this direction and I am reaching this particular cell. Okay. So in this particular cell, again it is allocated cell. Now you can take a turn, maybe right side or maybe left side, you can take a turn. Let us say if I am taking a turn left. Again it is allocated cell, that means you can take a turn and you can come back like this. But these two are non-allocated cells, that means you cannot take a turn and you cannot come back to the initial position. Now what I am doing is, I am moving in this direction like this. So it is allocated cell, that means I can take a turn, I am taking a right turn like this. It is also allocated cell, I am taking a turn like this. It is allocated cell and I am taking a turn like this and then I am again reaching my initial position. Okay. So like this you have to formulate a loop. Now you might have got confused or you might be having a doubt like this. So I have taken a clockwise loop, right? So maybe you might have got doubt why can I take an anti-clockwise loop? So can I take anti-clockwise loop? Yes, you can take anti-clockwise loop also. Okay. So here I have taken a clockwise loop, right? Maybe it is your wish, you can take a anti-clockwise loop, then also you will get same final answer. Okay. So little bit of complex procedure, but I made it as simple as possible. Don't worry. So I am getting some comments. So any doubt in this loop formation? Just think, can we form loop in any other way or is it the only way? Okay, clockwise, anti-clockwise, that I agree. Any other possibility is there following those rules which I have already given to you, like a loop should contain only horizontal, vertical straight lines and a loop can take a turn only at the allocated cells. So like that I have given you some points, right? by following those points, is there any other possibility to form a loop? Just think. Okay, so regarding this, do you have any doubt? I mean, how to form a loop? So I ask one more question. I mean, can we form a loop in any other way? Clockwise, anti-clockwise, that I agree. You will be getting same answer. Okay. Now, just think. So is this clear? So if you are having any doubt regarding this, you can ask. Okay. So already how to perform this step, I have given you some steps. Okay. So remaining steps after this, I will dictate again. Okay. So shall I move forward? I mean, next step. Do you have any doubt in this? So step number 4, write down the allocations. So we have started from this particular cell, right? So after taking maybe n number of turns, you have to again come back to the initial position. Okay. What you are saying is it mandatory to move only one particular cell? No, you can bypass this particular cell and you can move to the other cell also. See, because if you are moving only one cell, you cannot come back. By following those rules. Okay. Maybe you can move 2 cells, 3 cells, 4 cells, any number of cells. It is your wish. So I hope I have answered your doubt. Okay. It is not mandatory to move only one cell. You can move any number of cells. Okay. So if you are able to come back by moving only one cell, you can go. You can come back. Okay. But if you are moving only in this particular cell, you cannot come back because this is only allocated cell, this is non-allocated cell, and this is also non-allocated cell. Okay. So it is not mandatory to move only in steps. You can move 2-3 cells at a time. Okay. So not both. We don't require shortest loop or we don't require a longest loop. We just require loop. Okay. It may be shortest, it may be longest, or don't worry about shortest or longest. We just need a loop. Okay. Okay, fine. So please listen to the further procedure, then you will be understanding better. We just want a loop. Okay. Shortest, longest doesn't matter. We just want a loop. That's all. Okay. See, if any other possibility is there to form this loop, you can follow that particular loop. You will be getting same answer. Okay. So here clockwise and anti-clockwise, only these 2 loops are possible. It forms a square loop only. No, not necessarily. Sai Kumar, very good question. So not necessarily a square loop. Okay. Maybe let us say, okay, so we are complicating things, I think. Fine. Maybe you can get a loop like this. So I'm just giving an example. Okay. Some hypothetical situations. So as you have asked, I'm just giving you some situations. Okay. So Sai Kumar, I'm answering your question. So you're saying that only should we have to get only square loops or like rectangle loops? Maybe you may get a loop like this also for some other questions. Okay. So only thing is you have to draw horizontal and vertical straight lines. That's all. You may get a loop of this shape also. It doesn't matter. Any polygon you can say. Okay. So maybe you can get a loop like this also. Maybe. So I'm just taking a hypothetical situation. Okay. So it doesn't require, it doesn't mean that only square loops or rectangle loops. You can form a loop like this also. It depends on the allocated cells. Okay. How you are forming loops.